I am Doomsvince, and this is day 33 of Spawn Year.
I think I like Wanda Blake. She doesn't sit around brooding when things get hard like Al does. It's hard to imagine how these two were ever married. She's insisting on knowing everything about Terry's job now, trying to get to the bottom of what happened with the mob and the CIA, and now she's braving the alleys to find Spawn and get some answers. So far, she's the boldest and most proactive character in the book, if not the smartest. These have got to be the most dangerous alleys in any city in the country. Demons, warrior angels, cyborgs, gangs with cyborgs, punk kids with explosives, plus the usual rapists and thieves. There are a couple of scumbags who see her immediately after getting out of her car, and seeing as it's dark and no one else seems to be around, she should have been done for right then, but because the narrative needs her to find Spawn, they kindly wait to try to rape her until after she's asked several homeless people about Spawn and bribed a man to take her to his spot, where she finds the curse literally crucified by Spawn. A spawn of Satan takes a guy claiming to be on a mission from God and crucifies him in his territory to send people a message calling himself the King, no less. The biblical references are obvious, but only there for the sake of familiarity, as nothing is really done with all this. It's just there to freak out Wanda and give her a horrified first impression of Spawn. So Spawn, more violently than usual for mere mortals, rips the rapist to pieces. This is supposed to be a big moment. We've been waiting a good long time for these two to finally meet, but I'm distracted by how clumsy this writing is. Why do these rapists wait until Wanda finds a battered religious psycho crucified to a wall before they attack? More importantly, why introduce them in a panel pages earlier? If we saw them for the first time here, it wouldn't have been nearly as convenient. So when Spawn finally recognizes Wanda, he does the same thing he did when he tried to protect Terry while working with Houdini. He goes wide-eyed and turns into a little kid, yelling her name. She asks him how he knows her name, and he says he's just someone who cares. Now, I realize she has to be more than a little rattled. She just saw more blood spilled by Spawn than I've written in this notebook. But she came out here just to find him because he, quote, has the answers to some very serious questions. And she doesn't press him at all about why he saved Terry. Nothing. She tells him she's there to thank him, and also says he scares her, so she just hands him a picture of her family and leaves. Certainly she didn't expect all this violence and wasn't prepared for that, but I would have hoped she would be tougher than that, mostly because I was counting on her to move the plot along a little. Nope, the story is that decompressed. Al's widow seeing him do violence, getting no answers to her questions, and still not even knowing who he is counts as a major development. Here's a thought. Maybe Terry would have found it interesting enough to mention to his wife that when he first met Spawn in the alley, he heard him referred to as Al. That would have moved things along a bit by this issue. I also think the heart around Spawn and Wanda is a bit much, but Wanda's appearance is overall sad and touching, even if not nearly enough is accomplished with it, and it's a perfect excuse for depressed Spawn face, one of my favorite of his lexicon of over-the-top emotional states. The curse is even more ridiculous here than when he started. After Spawn subdues him, okay, I guess that's a little understated when describing a guy who got crucified, after a lifetime of trying to impress God by being really crazy in his name, the curse suddenly decides this is the last time he can take God forsaking him, and now he's just out for himself. But he still wants to kill demons from hell for some reason, and stupidly threatens Spawn even though he believes they're kindred spirits because God has abandoned them both, and he's in no position to threaten anyone. Despite a couple genuinely emotional moments with Wanda, I found this issue overall quite weak, and I'm still waiting for Spawn to fix his chest. Has he decided never to expend energy to heal himself now? Is he going to be missing an arm and an eye like Curse in 40 or 50 issues? Or perhaps when the war between heaven and hell begins, he'll just be a disembodied head rolling around biting angels' ankles and barking orders to his army of hellspawns. Before Spawn Year, I might have thought that ridiculous. I don't put anything past this series now. Signed, Captain Logan.